Hello everyone. Today I would like to share a message about the essence of life, guiding us towards a mind that awakens to truth and enters the core of peace. The essence of life, when realized, frees us entirely from suffering. This is an inner journey, not something external. It is about the awakened mind within. When we come to recognize our original nature, the fundamental essence of life, it is formless, neither coming nor going, neither born nor dying, neither dark nor light. It is a pure and pristine state. Within this essence there is no physical form, no need for a body, no reliance on sound for communication, no dependence on mental imagery, emotions, perceptions, memories, or meanings. It is a pure and transparent state, utterly clear and united with the vast emptiness of the universe. Yet we fail to recognize this pure and original essence, the true source of ourselves. This ignorance leads to the endless cycle of rebirth. To be free from birth is profoundly important, because when there is no birth, there is no suffering. Suffering exists because we are born. I share this in every message, hoping everyone, children included, can listen and reflect. I wish for these messages to be included in school curricula everywhere, from young children to older students. This wisdom transcends age, gender, physical ability, religion, nationality, and culture. It is universal. I encourage all of us, young and old regardless of background, to share and listen daily from morning to night. As we listen continuously, we will gradually understand and begin to grasp the core teachings. We will begin to reverse the outward flow of attention and instead turn inward. After spending much of our lives learning about the external world, we can shift towards awakening within. As the essence of our life awakens, we will begin to see the truth. We will start to notice the inner voice, which we may have overlooked or perhaps observed without understanding. This realization is the path to awakening. Let us observe the voice that speaks within. This essence of life, which we may call consciousness or the mind, does not have a mouth. Do you realize this? It does not have a mouth, yet there is a voice within. This inner voice manifests as thoughts, doesn't it? Thoughts that continuously speak, chattering away, always present. Observe closely, and you'll notice how we constantly flow along with this inner voice, as if carried away by a conversation inside our minds. But if we look deeply, we'll realize that this voice is not truly us. It is merely a movement within, a ripple of nature itself. It arises as sound, intangible, without form, and without an owner. No one can claim to possess these thoughts or this inner voice. When you observe carefully and grasp this principle, you will understand that the voice speaking inside is not you. It is simply an expression of the essence of life. To offer an analogy, think of the essence of life as the sun. The sun has certain characteristics. It radiates light, emits heat, and produces electromagnetic waves and magnetic fields. These are expressions of the sun, but they are not the sun itself. They are manifestations that naturally radiate outward, providing light and warmth to the surrounding planets. These qualities are unique to the sun, but they are not the sun itself. Similarly, our essence of life is the original source. It is formless and seeks to learn. Imagine for a moment that this essence has no shape, no form. Picture yourself as this essence of life without any physical form. Now close your eyes and rely only on your feelings, not on your mind. Do not think, do not remember. Just follow what I am saying. Simply allow yourself to align with these words, to be guided by them. I will guide you back home, back to the pure, original essence of who you truly are. Allow yourself to return to this clarity, this purity, and recognize it as your true nature. Let us close our eyes. As you close your eyes, use only your awareness, no thinking, no memory. While your eyes are closed, can you feel life? In this space, there is no form. At this moment, your physical body seems to disappear. Use only your awareness and gently understand this. No need to doubt, no need to think. Simply feel. It's like when we were first born. Back then, we had no thoughts, no language, no concept of how to think. There was only awareness, pure awareness without a sense of self. Awareness that arises naturally, without stories, without knowing what it knows. It's like when you open your eyes and see, but you don't yet know what you are seeing. When you hear, but you don't yet understand what you are hearing. Yet in that awareness, there is life. There is a sense of experiencing something, even though it cannot yet be comprehended. Let us return to that state, as if we are newly born. Close your eyes and simply observe. There is no need to think or use the brain. Start by sensing, by feeling life as it is right now. Here, in this space, there is only life. No stories, no sounds, no thoughts, no images, no emotions. All the emotions you once had, anger, suffering, are gone. Even happiness or the good and bad experiences of your life dissolve here. In this space there is no name or identity. Observe this. Use only your awareness to sense this life that has no form. There is no need for the mind, no need to think. Simply allow your awareness to incline gently toward this truth. This is reality, a reality that requires no language. Here, there is life, but no form. Here, there are no stories, no labels, nothing that identifies us as human. This reality merges seamlessly with everything. It is a truth without boundaries, where even the idea of having a name or identity disappears. How can we have a name or identity when there is no form? Here, there is no coming or going, because it is already merged with everything. There is no space, no separation, just totality. There is no time here. Observe carefully. There is no time. Use only awareness. There is no distance, no shape, no language, no stories, nothing at all. It is clear and pure in its own nature. Observe closely. Who can sense the clarity of nothingness? Gently bring understanding into this truth. Understand it with your own awareness, with the essence of life itself, without relying on language or stories. Just follow it naturally. As you feel this emptiness, this transparency, this lightness, there is nothing here. There are no relatives or connections because there is no form. Without form, where could relatives come from? There are no animals here, no humans here, not even this world exists here. There is life, but it has no shape, no stories. There is no suffering, not even the happiness that arises from desires being fulfilled. There is only the purity of the original essence of life, merging with all things. Observe this and incline yourself toward the truth. A truth that needs no language to explain, no concepts to define it. Use only your awareness to dive into this truth, to recognize that this essence of life has no form. It is not anything, and it is not connected to anything. No parents created this pure essence of life. No one can create it. It is the natural state that existed before all things, a nature that is uncreated, unborn, and undying. It neither comes nor goes. It merges with everything. This original, pure life is completely free from suffering. Here, no language can describe you or indicate where you are. There is no point that defines you. There is only the feeling of life without form. This is the original essence of life, the primordial element from which all arises. This life simply waits to be discovered, to awaken to the truth. The sounds that are heard are merely the manifestation of hearing itself. It is awareness perceiving naturally, on its own, unrelated to this pure and clear essence of life. Where is the sense of self in this? Use only your awareness to incline toward it. Nothing indicates self. There is only truth, a stream of nature that knows itself. There is no need to intend to know, no need to try to know, and no need to practice to know. It simply knows on its own. It hears on its own. And even what is called sound here is not truly sound. Observe carefully. Just observe. Use only your awareness to sense the sound, as it comes in the form of words and sentences. Awareness recognizes it and rests naturally in its original state. When sound arises, it knows, and yet it does not become anything. It remains pure, clear, and empty, without form. This natural essence does not need to be created, nor does it require preservation. All of us are this clear, pure essence of life, seamlessly merging with everything. It naturally ripples with awareness without needing to claim anything as its own. When a smell arises, it knows. When an image appears, it knows. When a taste touches, it knows. When the air is cool or warm, it knows. Awareness experiences contact, perceives, and then dissolves back into its natural state. This is the nature of all things. They function on their own. There is no self doing anything, no self owning anything. Observe this. Use only your awareness to sense it, with the awareness that is the essence of formless life. No thinking, no remembering, no effort is needed. Simply sense and know things as they are. It is light, open, and comfortable, requiring nothing. There is no self in this original nature. This is the essence of life. This is the pure element of life, the primordial essence that merges with everything in the universe. There is no body here, nothing that defines us as human. Look closely. There are no arms, no legs, no physical form here. Where would such a body exist in this purity? What purpose would the body serve in this purity? This natural awareness continues to perceive on its own. It knows by its nature, effortlessly. And what it perceives belongs to no one. Simply sense it with your awareness. From this, understanding arises. Tears may flow, touched by the truth. Where is the self? It has never existed, not from the very beginning. Even now there is no self. There is only the stream of nature, aware in its own way, understanding in its own way. This is the awakening of the mind, the essence of life, to the truth. Simply awaken and see reality using only awareness to touch the truth that requires no explanation. It is like a newborn child opening its eyes to see everything, knowing everything, but without stories or meanings. Knowing with an emptiness free from assigning value. Every time this essence of life takes residence in a body, whether as a creature of the water, land, sky, or a being that becomes human, it initially experiences this same pure awareness. There is no meaning, no language to explain what it knows. There is only the essence of life perceiving. When sound arises, it simply knows, but it does not understand what it knows. The eyes see, and awareness knows, but it does not comprehend what it sees. There are no emotions, no reactions, no suffering. This essence of life exists only to learn, to seek understanding that nothing belongs to us. Everything exists as it is, on its own. This nature remains pure and untouched. It is unconnected to anything. Without a body, there is no suffering. Suffering arises because there is a body. With a body comes possession of that body, and thus the struggle to provide for it, seeking food, care, and sustenance for this physical form. But this truth reveals that the body is not us. The body is just a temporary vessel, and life is something far beyond it, pure, untouched, and free from the burdens of form. Like when we were newborn children, as we began to sense that we were alive, we started to perceive something. The air touched our body. We began to feel hunger. At this point, we started feeling dissatisfied with certain sensations, pressed by the air and hunger. One reaction arose, dissatisfaction, an emotion. This emotion emerged naturally from nature's pressure, manifesting as a ripple of discontent, crying. While crying, we felt something being compressed, forced to express through the body. Then we received milk from mother, began feeling satisfied with the taste, and experienced contentment. We started wondering why we could feel this, control the sensation of nursing, and began to remember and learn about life. We started to possess a form, and found satisfaction in feeling milk flowing into the body, feeling comfortable and content that this body we inhabit was becoming full. Then we began to sleep. During sleep we disappeared somewhere unknown. Have we noticed during deep sleep, in those deepest moments, nothing remains except the life element? Life continues as before during deep sleep. Suppose we sleep deeply for about 5 hours. Where are we during that time? We had no form, only the life element. When I guide you to close your eyes and feel life, there are no stories. When the life element is cut off from the body, unable to contact the body for about 5 hours, only the formless life element remains, without stories, because there are no tools for learning. Everything is cut off. When cut off from the body, nothing remains. When we were newly born, there were no memories. Images couldn't arise because there were no stories or memories. Without memories, we couldn't generate images or think because we hadn't learned language. Then one day, as we grew, we began remembering everything. We started possessing a body, remembering our appearance, this body, being male or female, remembering stories of having parents, relatives, food, living in this house, having this land in this village, this world being this way. We began recording everything, stories, images, sounds heard, began knowing these are parents, knowing we are male or female, knowing we have this name and surname because we were called it daily until we remembered. We began possessing this body, speaking, possessing the ability to speak, like how I'm opening my mouth to speak now. This voice has no speaker, and this isn't even a voice. Today, we're accustomed to using this voice, using it until familiarity. At first, we never relied on any of these things. We are a pure life element, without form, appearance, sound, image, emotion, or any conditions. Only nature exists. When contact occurs, it performs the function of knowing, knowing without a self-knowing. In this pure element, there is nothing at all. It is the original element. But because this life element seeks to learn, when it comes to dwell in vessels of aquatic creatures, land animals, winged beings and humans, it learns. Do we know that we are simply life elements lacking knowledge? Lacking knowledge and understanding that nothing in this world is truly us. When we come to inhabit these forms, we must suffer, must be troubled with caring for these things, until we see the truth that nothing at all is truly us. We must establish through our own knowledge that there is only suffering throughout. When we have a body, we suffer with the body. When we rely on this voice, we are troubled by sounds. When certain sounds make contact, we feel satisfaction. Emotions arise again, troubled by emotions. When other sounds make contact, dissatisfaction arises again. Hot emotions and anger arise again. This sound causes disturbance when we rely on it. We believe we are speaking like that. But if we see that this sound is merely a self-functioning condition, not us, mental images think by themselves, not us at all, and they have no form, this sound exists somewhere unknown, cannot be grasped, is merely a rippling condition outside the life element. Mental images are like rippling conditions, images of themselves. Emotions are rippling conditions of themselves. The knowing is merely rippling knowing of itself. When the life element, when we observe from within and see these conditions are not us, and understand that we suffer because we cling to this body. Once we have a body, we must seek food, struggle for food, and there is only suffering throughout. All day long, troubled by thinking, remembering, using emotions, quarreling, discussing many stories. Ears must remember many stories, must understand many stories, must struggle to solve many problems. It's all outside, not the life element within. We seek everything outside completely, believing we are truly human beings, We've come to believe we are human. We have come to believe that we must remember everything, to think, to solve external problems, and to make everything conform to what we think, what we imagine. We strive to create pleasant emotions, comfort, and happiness, avoiding suffering at all costs. But do you realize that emotions, whether happiness or suffering or any thoughts or imaginings, are merely ripples that exist outside of the life element? Meanwhile, the life element itself is nothing at all. It is formless, pure, and merged with all things in the universe. The body exists within this clear and empty space. This voice exists within this clear and empty space. Mental images, emotions, and awareness also dwell within this clear and empty space. But in this clarity and emptiness, none of these things are truly anything. They are not connected to anything. There is no suffering, no happiness, no conditions, only clarity and purity. In this space, there is no suffering at all. To summarize, if the life element does not yet realize that it is inherently pure, it continues to rely on the body, this voice, mental images, emotions, and awareness. It remains entangled in these things, caught up in their turmoil. It's like this analogy. When we are alone, everything is calm and simple. But then, imagine we adopt 8 little puppies. At first, they are adorable, and we feel joy. But soon, the chaos begins. We need to take care of them, feed them, and look after them. Money becomes tight as we have to buy food and milk for them. They run around, relieving themselves everywhere. We have to clean up after them, put them to sleep, and take care of them constantly. Suddenly, they become a burden. Do you know what a burden is? We struggle to care for these 8 puppies. As they grow, they become bigger and harder to manage. They start barking loudly, chewing on things and causing damage. What was once a quiet and peaceful life becomes chaotic because of these puppies. As they grow into large dogs, the problems multiply. They bark constantly, destroy things, and even disturb neighbors. We must chain them up to control them, but they keep barking. They need more food as they grow, and feeding them becomes a daily struggle. Life becomes exhausting. These dogs eventually want to mate and start families of their own, adding even more chaos. At this point, the burden becomes overwhelming. The dogs eat more than we can afford. They make messes everywhere, and they don't listen to us. We can't even communicate with them because we don't speak the same language. What started as a peaceful life without worries has now turned into complete disorder, all because of these dogs. Do you see how this is a burden? From a calm and simple beginning, it has become total chaos. The essence of life resides in the vessel of the body to learn. This is the key, to learn that everything in existence is a burden. It's not truly us, yet we cling to it. We identify ourselves as humans, don't we? We believe we are male or female because we've been taught so since birth. All of us, as the essence of life, are spiritual beings, pure consciousness, empty and clear. Our essence of life inhabits various forms, be it in the bodies of aquatic creatures, terrestrial animals, birds, or humans. The world is full of these vessels. Suppose there are 1 million living beings on Earth. Each is an essence of life dwelling in different forms, tiny creatures underground, in the seas, in the air, on land, as birds, or as microscopic beings floating in the atmosphere. All of it is an endless infinity of consciousness residing in countless vessels, each seeking sustenance, learning, and answers to the question of its true self. Right now, we are all lost, every consciousness wandering in the same way. We teach and are taught by one another. When we are born, we are taught to call others father, mother, relatives, uncle, aunt. We are taught to eat, to speak, to think, to remember. We are taught to find sustenance, to live life, to believe that we are human. We are given names, surnames, homes, cars, families, everything. We strive together to survive and sustain this body because we are taught that this body is ours. In school, We are taught to think, to remember, to think more and remember more, so we can live in this world. We are told we are male or female, human beings. We are taught how to dress, how to behave, what not to do, what to do. There are laws, societal systems, and customs we are expected to follow. We are raised within these boundaries as if in a cage. Unknowingly, we are trapped in this body, trapped in this world, bound by rules, traditions, and cultures. Without realizing it, everyone believes this way, holds on to this, identifying as humans, believing this body is theirs. Now let us examine this. If this body truly belongs to us, can we command it not to age? Can we tell it not to fall ill, to never get sick? Some people are starting to develop cancer. Some have stomach disorders. Some are suffering from severe allergies. Others face issues with their blood system, experience dizziness, have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or excessive fats in the bloodstream. Some often feel chest tightness or have extreme reactions to certain foods, leading to fainting or even shock. Diabetes is on the rise. Many of us, especially as we grow older, are battling all kinds of ailments. Weakness begins to creep in. The body no longer feels as strong as it once did. It feels as though the body is beginning to fail. Some people realize they might not make it to tomorrow. Eventually, the body stops working altogether. This body is impermanent. Imagine, for instance, if this body could only last 5 days. Just 5 days. When the essence of life, the spirit, the soul, or our consciousness, inhabits a body, the body must quickly eat, grow, and develop. Once it reaches a certain stage, the body seeks to reproduce. After that, it begins to weaken, falls ill, and eventually dies because it can only last for 5 days. The essence of life, our consciousness, our spirit, moves from one vessel to another. It may inhabit the bodies of aquatic creatures, land animals, or birds. To survive, we consume other living beings, each of which also houses an essence of life. This cycle repeats endlessly. Let's imagine we are human beings. We need to find sustenance, consuming both plants and animals. Sometimes we are aquatic creatures, and others come to consume us. We are eaten, we feel pain, we hurt. Do we become angry? Do we feel hatred? When someone strikes us or harms us to make us their food, do we feel anger, pain, or resentment? These emotions generate energy from within the essence of life. Our essence of life produces energy, whether it be energy of anger, hatred, vengeance, or energy of love, attachment, and clinging. This energy creates a magnetic force, binding and connecting us to one another. This is where attachment arises. You ate me, you struck me, you harmed me. Next time, I'll do the same to you. We inhabit these vessels, and when they are harmed, we take it personally, believing this vessel is ours. This belief gives rise to anger, hatred, and vengeance. Next time, I will eat you. I will strike you. I will hurt you and make you suffer for eternity. We harbor anger, hatred, and vengeance against one another. Yet, on the other side, some feel love. I will love you, stay with you, and repay your kindness. I will repay you forever. We create both positive and negative energy, good and bad, happiness and suffering. We cling to these energies, tied to one another through anger, hatred, love, or attachment. Through this entanglement, we are reborn, tied together as enemies, as friends, as parents, as siblings, or as those who come to harm or destroy one another. Just like us today, we fight over land, even though the earth belongs to this planet. Yet, we claim and seize it as our own, waging war, throwing bombs, and destroying one another. Those who are destroyed feel anger and hatred toward the other side. The body doesn't last long, but the energy of vengeance persists. Next time I will be born to destroy you. Next time I will make you suffer. Next time I will be born to love you, to repay you. We create meanings, stories, and sounds. These sounds carry energy that binds us to one another. Sound is an expression of the essence of life. Imagination, too, is an expression of the essence of life. Emotions, all of them, are manifestations of the essence of life. These expressions give rise to countless stories. Even the sound of this voice that speaks, saying, "This is my arm, my leg," is a creation. Notice the body, it doesn't speak. Look at your hands, look at your legs. They don't say, "I'm the left leg," or "I'm the right hand." They don't name themselves as thumb, index finger, or pinky. The body doesn't speak, but this voice that I use to speak, this voice in our thoughts, it creates endless stories. We flow with these sounds, believing them to be who we are. Wake up. We are the essence of life, empty, pure, and untainted. This voice is merely a tool created when we are born. As we start using this voice, we assign meanings to it. This is my body. Look closely. Is there anything that truly belongs to us? Does the body ever say, "I'm a body, I'm an arm, I'm a leg"? Look at that tree over there. Does it say, "I'm a mango tree," or "I'm a tamarind tree"? Does it declare, "I'm a plant"? Look at all things around you. Do they call themselves a car, a window, a wall, a roof, or a house? Do they name themselves as aquatic animals, land animals, or birds? Do they say they are sky, earth, or trees, near or far? Do they say anything? They don't. Only this sound, this voice of ours, creates all these meanings.
Look at everything around you. Do any of them reveal that they have language? There is only the sound we think of, the thoughts, the voice in our mind, speaking, assigning value and meaning. This sound says, "This is a tamarind tree, a mango tree, sugar cane, a wall, a window, a fan." It is this voice that gives labels and meaning to things, creating assumptions to function in this constructed world, this imagined world. But the body, it is simply something that arose on this earth, existing within it. Can you see that it belongs to the earth? It's not us. This voice, too, is just a tool for communication in this world. It is not us. The voice that speaks is not ours. It's merely an instrument used for interaction on this plane. We are the essence of life, empty, pure, and clear. Imagination is a tool, a function for this world. Emotions are also tools for navigating life here. Even the awareness we feel is just another function for existing in this world. If we can see clearly, we will recognize that we are the essence of life, empty, clear, and pure. When we observe within, the essence of life awakens. It knows and sees from within. It sees the patterns of awareness, the thoughts that arise, the voice that assigns meaning to everything. Look closely. This body is not ours. The voice that says we are male or female is simply another tool. Wait a moment. Has the essence of life ever truly been male or female? We have never truly existed in this world. We are not human. Only this voice declares that we are this or that. When we were aquatic creatures, the voice said, "We are aquatic creatures." We followed that voice, identifying with the body, with the meaning assigned to it. Now we are aquatic creatures. Now we are underground beings, worms, land animals, tigers, dogs, cats, pigs, chickens, lions, or deer. This is what we believed, that we were those beings. In truth, we simply flowed along with the body and the labels it was given. We allowed the voice to convince us that we were these forms, but in reality we are none of these things. Try to understand this. We believe we are birds. We believe someone has harmed us, and so we become angry. We hate them. We believe we must retaliate, fight for land, fight for food. Once we identify with being a particular kind of creature, once we believe we are human, we begin to struggle endlessly to sustain this body. We experience anger, hatred, violence, consuming one another, destroying one another, all for the sake of feeding and maintaining this body. From morning till night we are caught up in this struggle. We wake early, rushing to work, consumed by thoughts and memories, constantly thinking and worrying. This relentless thinking leads to stress, to neurosis,
all for the sake of a single meal. The body needs only one plate of food, yet we exhaust ourselves from dawn till dusk, arguing, fighting, and even bringing our work into our minds at night. We overthink until we cannot sleep, until the body breaks down and falls ill. For some, this endless effort, just to secure a single meal, becomes a source of deep suffering. Understand this. When we have a body, we are bound to suffering. We are consumed by the need to sustain this body, by the need to remember, to accumulate knowledge. This endless remembering and thinking wears us down, driving us to neurosis. We play along with this voice, the thoughts in our mind, without realizing that none of it is truly us. This voice is merely a ripple, an expression. Look closely. This voice that speaks, it isn't you. It thinks on its own. It speaks on its own. We are the essence of life, empty, clear, pure. We have inhabited countless bodies, transitioning from one to another. We have learned everything this world has to offer. We have experienced it all: wealth, poverty, the greatest joys and the deepest sorrows. We've been the most powerful among aquatic creatures, the rulers of the animal kingdom, the kings of the skies. We have been the most powerful humans. We've had families, children and loved ones. We have experienced everything. But when the body dies, the essence of life moves on, seeking another body. And with each new body, we start over, learning, remembering, struggling, until that body too perishes and the cycle begins again. Look at this cycle. We are born to eat, sleep, and then die. Born to eat, sleep, and die. What are we searching for? So, let us ask, why does the mind or the essence of life need to be born? When will the essence of life finally cease to be born?
The key point lies here. The essence of life seeks to learn. We are pure, formless essence, clear and empty. The moment we realize the truth, that there is nothing that truly belongs to us, we see that we are the pure, empty essence of life. This voice, this body, is not ours. If it were truly ours, it would not age, not fall ill, and not die. Isn't that so? So why do we foolishly depend on and attach ourselves to this body? This body exists because of the voice that speaks. We follow and flow with this voice. Pay close attention to this. When the essence of life clings and attaches itself, it believes, I am speaking right now. But observe this carefully. This speaking, it is not truly you speaking. It is thought, thinking on its own. It speaks on its own. Try observing from within. Awaken the essence of life. Look inward at the voice speaking in your mind. Who is it? Watch carefully. From morning to night, just observe. It keeps thinking about this and that. Sometimes when you're sitting quietly, just waking up, or even relaxing, pay attention. For instance, you might suddenly think, I feel like eating noodles. Let's go buy noodles. Did you notice that voice? It arises on its own. It thinks by its own nature. Out of nowhere, it starts saying, let's eat noodles. Do you see the voice that speaks like this? It thinks naturally without effort. You don't have to force yourself to focus or stare at it. Live your normal life, but just observe. And when you notice, in the midst of daily life, that it's thinking on its own, ping, you realize, hey, it's speaking on its own. This is seeing nature as it is. For example, you're working, and suddenly the thought arises, let's eat noodles. If in that instant you notice and realize, hey, it's thinking on its own, the essence of life immediately begins to detach itself from that voice. This natural observation of thought, this simple awareness, is enough to awaken the essence of life and loosen its grip on the voice. When the essence of life sends its energy to cling to the voice, to imagination, to emotions, or to awareness, it becomes attached. But that's okay. Just observe.
If we notice that the voice speaking, the images appearing, or the emotions arising are simply happening on their own, that they think on their own, feel on their own, arise and disappear on their own, then, the moment we see that they function independently, the essence of life will begin to release its grip. It's like breaking a lotus stem and pulling it apart. There are still threads of the lotus holding it together. When we observe and realize it thinks on its own, it feels on its own, and see it clearly in that moment, it's like pulling the stem until the threads snap. The energy, like the threads of the lotus, detaches. The moment we see this clearly, it's as if we are being pulled out of our identification as a person, out of the belief that we are human. We are pulled out of the grip of the voice. When this happens, we see clearly that this voice is not us. It's as though we are yanked free, and suddenly we understand. The voice is just a voice, imagination is just imagination, emotion is just emotion. None of it belongs to us. Emotions have no self. Imagination has no self. Awareness has no self. These are merely patterns, ripples moving in the empty clarity of life. Even awareness itself, what is hearing this voice now, look carefully. It is aware on its own, naturally. Right now, do you see? Without trying, it hears. It hears the sound, smells the scent, tastes the flavors, sees the sights, feels the cold and the heat, all on its own. The moment this is seen, the essence of life is freed. It no longer sends its energy to cling to these things. When this release happens, tears may fall. There will be a profound lightness, a sense of freedom, of clarity. You will know deeply that it is possible to let go. The essence of life will no longer cling to anything. It's truly extraordinary. Tears will flow. It's as if everything we've ever known about living in this world, about being human, shatters completely. All the knowledge we've accumulated, even if we've earned 8 million doctorate degrees, will dissolve into nothingness. It's as though every memory of being human, of existing in this world, this universe, explodes into countless fragments. What remains is pure emptiness, clear and pristine. When we break free from this attachment, we realize that we are pure essence, clear, pure, and untainted. We merge completely with the universe. There arises a luminous wisdom, a radiance so vast it encompasses the entire cosmos. It is clarity, brilliance, and profound understanding. The light of this wisdom is so overwhelming, so all-encompassing, that tears of awe and realization begin to flow. The body cries, overwhelmed by joy and astonishment, while the essence of life itself remains untouched, unaffected. In this moment of profound liberation, we must be careful not to delude ourselves into believing we are gods or divine beings. Do not get lost in the idea of being something or someone special. The experience of freedom is immense, miraculous, and deeply fulfilling. There is no suffering, only a sense of fullness, of joy so profound that hunger ceases for days. For some, it lasts weeks. And during this time one may see everything, past lives, truths about others, the nature of their minds. It is as though everything is laid bare. Some even gain extraordinary insights and abilities. But remember this, none of it is truly us. Understand deeply, no matter how extraordinary the experience, do not cling to it or identify with it. Ultimately, we are nothing. We are the pure, clear essence, timeless, formless, beyond space and matter. This essence does not need a body, a voice, imagination, emotions, or even sensory awareness. It is one with everything, indistinguishable, inseparable. It is like a single drop of water taken from the vast ocean and placed into a vessel, gaining the illusion of being separate, of having an individual life. But when that drop returns to the ocean, it becomes one with it again. Do you see? When we merge with the pure essence, it is as though that single drop is returned to the ocean. We realize we are the ocean itself. There is no division, no boundary. We are everything. This is the truth.
Do you understand it?
Indeed, we are the essence of life, formless, clear and pure, naturally one with everything from the very beginning. Yet all of this has been a result of the essence of life's ignorance. In its unawareness, the essence of life generates currents of conditioned energy, creating attachments to the body and other forms. The essence clings to these manifestations in order to learn, to discover what it truly is. Through countless bodies and forms, we have learned everything external. We've explored the world, the universe, and the body, but we have rarely been taught to turn inward and study the mind, the origin, the core essence of life itself. The true source, the pure essence of life, has remained unknown to us. I share this with you so that you can understand. Listen to it often, share it with others, and it will transform your life. You will come to know why you are here, why the essence of life takes form. Once you recognize the truth, the essence no longer needs anything. It is already pure, already free of suffering. When we reach this understanding, we can live in this world peacefully and harmoniously. There will no longer be any violence, destruction, or harm. We will respect one another deeply, free from suffering. When this realization unfolds, it will feel extraordinary. Many will cry tears of awe, of joy, of profound relief. Some will say, "I finally understand. I'm free. I'm no longer bound to rebirth." Conversations will no longer revolve around mundane struggles, but rather the wonders of the essence of life, something we never truly understood before. We've known everything there is to know about the world and the universe, yet we've never truly known the essence of life. It's like stepping into another dimension, a zero dimension. This dimension is timeless, spaceless, utterly pure, and inseparable from everything. And this state, this purity, is eternal. It is what we have always been and will always be. We will come to know with absolute clarity that we will no longer be reborn. This body we inhabit now will be the final vessel we ever occupy. From this moment onward, we will not return to the cycle of birth and death. This is the essence of life, the ultimate realization that will bring about true world peace. Why? Because when everyone comes to this understanding, no one will harm or oppress others. When we turn inward, the focus will no longer be on blaming or judging others, but on knowing the truth within ourselves. This inner awakening reveals the ultimate reality, and with this understanding, we will no longer return to be reborn. When there is no birth, no reliance on any form, there will be no suffering. There will be no need to harm or exploit others. Even as we still inhabit this body, we will live without causing harm to one another, waiting peacefully for the day when the body dissolves. And when that day comes, we will not return to this cycle of existence again. This freedom marks the end of suffering and the beginning of an eternal peace within and beyond. Share this knowledge with everyone. Encourage others to explore, to discover, and to overcome this illusion. For when we succeed, we will know the truth of all things. We will transcend the cycle of suffering and rest in the pure eternal essence of life, free and at peace forever. It is time to conclude here. May all of us swiftly and directly awaken to this truth.